How good is this for doing a little guitar tutorial? Just for fun, I thought it'd be cool to come down here and record this down at this little swing that I found, and hey, maybe I can swing my groove. Well, it's going to be a morning of bad puns about swinging. I will stop there before I get started. But getting into this, there's 5 little building blocks, great things that I think you can use this time, this quarantine lockdown to practice. And the first one is learning the pentatonic patterns. There's 5 of them. They're minor and major, really, and you can interchange them, which you'll learn as you learn them, but they're great building blocks to get around the neck and start to be able to see what you're playing and where you are, like have a reference point. So there's a link below to all 5 patterns so you can learn them, but here's how I would approach it. We're going to use A minor, and this is the one that most people know, going all from the 5th fret to the 8th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 8th fret, 5th fret, 8th fret. But what I would do as you learn these is I would start to learn the chords that are in them, if you like. So there's our A minor, which is like an E minor shape here. But now I can see that, oh, that matches where my fingers are for the chord with this extra note here. And carrying on. Okay, I've got a framework for where that is, but inside of that, there's all these other chords. We could go straight to C, which is part of what we're going to get into in tip number 2. But you're going to start to see that within this pentatonic framework, you've got all these chords available to you, and it's going to help you navigate around the neck, which brings us to the second thing that I think is superb learning for during these quarantine times. And the second is learning the cage system. Again, there's a link below and you can download it and work through it and get the basics. The cage system is simply a structure of how chords work through different shapes as they move up the neck. So we start with C of caged. The next shape will be an A shape, still a C chord. Huh. And some nice birds hanging out with us this morning. Okay, caged, C, A, G. So now for a C, we've got our G shape. And if you're not used to doing this, these can be quite a stretch, but I still recommend learning the principle of this so that you can start to map out and know where you are on the guitar, wherever you're playing. So there's our G, so we've had C, A, G, we've had CAG. Next is going to be E, so where we end up, perfect, E shape, but we're still playing C chords. These are just C chords up the neck of the guitar. And C, A, G, E, D, perfect. We're finally up to a D shape, which is again still a C chord. Then we're back to C again. So this pattern repeats, and it's a really good way that you can learn the chord shapes and link them in with what we just did, learning the 5 pentatonic scale patterns. So that should keep you entertained for a while, but funnily enough, there's 3 more things. Number 3 is working on your hand synchronization between your picking hand, whether it's with a pick or whether it is using your fingers. I'm going to focus on using a pick because I've seen a few exercises recently, which the common one is this. people only explain it in that order, usually. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 going up. We only ever start picking on the downstroke, so we're really missing so many skills that we use in actual playing, and that is to sync our hands up. So what I'd suggest if you are doing this is that you take a metronome, grab your phone, set it to a steady beat, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick with your right hand. So if our metronome's on, we're just going to get, let's do semi-quavers, so I'm the metronome, in case you hadn't noticed. Let's then check out doing that same thing, starting with an upstroke. Okay, this should all be at the same speed. I didn't bring a metronome, so, and I do have my phone, but I'm not getting off this. I'm not getting off this swing before I finish this video. So, downstrokes, then upstrokes. Then check your left hand at that same metronome speed. Can you do hammer-ons? Okay, I forgot the metronome that time. But and can you do hammer-ons down? If you really want to, you can do it with pull-offs, which is a great exercise, and this is where I'm the most sucky at. Okay, getting them nice and smooth, hopefully, but you'll start to see where your weakest link in the chain is, and you can actually work on that. And I'm going to add a list of all the different finger combinations on your left hand that you could have below if you really want to work on this. So for example, we typically go 1, 2, 3, 4. What happens if we go 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4? Okay, because that's again a combination you're going to use in different phrasing, different scales. Or what about if we go 4, 2, 3, 1? You're going to start to see, as you increase the speed of that metronome, you're going to start to see where your weak points are, and then it gives you something to work on, where maybe it's better when you work on these to work on 4, 2, 3, 1, if that's your slowest one, if that's the challenging one. Because really, we want to work on things that help us improve rather than necessarily just showing off the same favorite skill and lick. Hopefully. I'm guessing you're watching this video because you really like the guitar and you wanna learn some new things and improve in some areas. Right. Number 4, the fourth idea I think is a great thing to learn during this lockdown time is arpeggios. Morning. The first people are appearing for their morning walk. Where were we? Arpeggios. Right, so you can choose anything you like. Let's go with G and we'll go major. Let's go a dominant 7th. So you're starting to learn this sound as an arpeggio over the neck, and they're kind of patterns just like a pentatonic scale pattern, just some different tool to add into your arsenal and understanding of visualizing the neck and where notes are. So for a G7, we'd get there, and we can use this cage system again that we talked about. So that's an E shape. Our next one is going to be D. So here's our G, here's our G7, okay, like a D7 shape. Oh, it's getting really busy this morning. How's it going? You're all good? All right. Oh, for sure. Oh, just doing some filming for little YouTube tutorials.
Awesome.
And learning to play the guitar as well, you know, it's fun.
That's awesome. What a great setting to do it in.
It's a nice spot, eh?
It is, eh? Oh, good on you.
Enjoy your walk.
Good stuff.
Back to this G chord. It's a D shape and we've made it a 7th. And then our arpeggio based around this shape will be. Okay, so from there, D shape, we're back to C. Still a G chord. We want a G7, so we're not going to bar it, we're just going to use that. And then we get this. Little arpeggio shape up to another A shape, which we're going to turn into a 7th. Again, it's still a G chord, but it's using an A major shape, A7, and then we're just shifting it up to where we left off. If that's confusing, go and spend some time with the cage system and it will start to make sense and it will really open up the guitar neck for you. So our dominant 7th here would be. And I think it's important to know where the root note is as well, so maybe come back to that at the end. Last one, we're up to back to a G shape and we're nastily right up here. and we've got this 7th, so we're gonna start on the 7th for this arpeggio. Okay, you could obviously take just a straight major arpeggio. You could take a minor chord, a minor 7th. You know, you can do all sorts of variations on these arpeggios. I think they really help, especially if you're learning the cage system, I think they really help your mind mentally map out where those chords are and give you some tools to use for your soloing and improv as well. Right, lucky last, idea number 5 that you can experiment with and explore in your playing is to pick a lick. It doesn't have to be a full solo. If there's something that you heard in a song that you thought was tasty, just go and find that and learn it. And because what sounds good to you, if you start adding in and learning all those licks that you really like and what chords they're over, then you're starting to add those tools into your own arsenal of playing. And so I went and there's this lick that I never learnt, and it happens in Crazy Little Thing Called Love just before the solo. And the chords that it's over are B flat, C, D. And it's kind of like our 6 dominant 7 back to 1 progression. And the lick is, once you've learned this lick, what you want to find is other songs that use that chord progression and see what happens if you move that lick around on the guitar and play it over those same things. It's something to experiment with, and I think you'll find it really useful. If you want to extend this, then by all means, feel free to do an entire solo, something that you've always wanted to learn, whatever that might be, okay? Go and do all the cliched classic things. There's a reason the popular little solos are favorites. They're usually pretty good and have something sneaky or juicy in them. Just might be phrasing, it might be note choice over the chords, but there's a reason we like them. I hope you have fun. I am gonna hang out and swing on this swing, I think, for a little bit, and play some guitar. So